Podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
BoxingVoice.com.
What broke him down? Was it just the body punching? I was hitting him with body punching. I heard him actually, he was crying in there. You were saying that Biggs was crying when you hit him? Yes. When did that happen? And perhaps the fourth round on.
BoxingVoice.com.
So that you knew you had him by that time. Absolutely, but I knew he was tough and taking those punches.
Breazeale Productions.
Making women gestures like, oh.
Let's go, champ.
Welcome back, ladies and gents. Welcome back to another edition of the Boxing Voice Radio. We're here to discuss Wilder versus Breazeale and the fact that it's landing on Sky Sports in the UK and not ITV, which is what Al Heyman obviously, has been doing business with. They've did the Chris Eubank, James DeGale pay-per-view, and everyone's scratching their heads as to why this is not on ITV and instead with Sky. But let me get ahead and bring in my co-host.
Breazeale Productions.
Speak it, believe it, receive it. Speak it, believe it, receive it.
BoxingVoice.com.
So when I stop him, y'all gonna say he was too weak. And he stayed out before he said he was not.
A man stand up for what he believes in, and when you stand up for what you believe in, you accept whatever consequences come behind it.
BoxingVoice.com.
Yo, what's up, everybody out there in TBV University? Yeah, back here with another one, man. I don't know if it's, it's not on ITV, so kind of get the drift that they will not put this as a pay-per-view over there, because I don't know if BT is doing it as a not BT, I'm sorry. Is Sky Sports doing this as a pay-per-view, or is it just one of those like fight night things?
No, this is just live and exclusive on Sky Sports, not Sky Sports pay-per-view.
Okay, yeah, it's weird that it's not on ITV since that Al Heyman has a partnership with them. Maybe the rights fee from Sky was just too much to pass up, and we all know that even though Al Heyman has a partnership with these ITV and Showtime and Fox, none of these fighters are obligated to fight on these networks.
Yeah, I mean, I think that kind of hits the nail on the head. It's all about rights fee. The same reason Dillian Whyte didn't land on Dazn. They didn't give him enough, and Showtime gave a little more. And I think that's what we're seeing here. Al left it open for ITV, but ultimately it was Sky. And Sky very happy with it because they're promoting like the next, I guess, 2 to 3 months will be all heavyweight fights with Wilder, Breazeale, Usyk, Takam, and then Joshua Miller.
Yep. And I think Derek Chisora is sprinkling it in there somewhere. He's fighting Gashi or something like that. Yeah, but Sky Sports definitely picked the ball up for the UK public by having Wilder and Usyk and AJ fighting all within a month of each other. So that's good for boxing. And I actually think that it being on Sky Sports is a positive, you know what I'm saying, in my opinion, for the fights that we want to see down the road. You know what I'm saying? If this shows that overseas these guys can, but overseas these guys can actually work together. You know what I'm saying? I know AJ's not involved with it, but that they can work something out with Sky Sports that Wilder could be a mainstay on their network. Hopefully it's not like one and done like it was BT Sports. And I was shocked that it wasn't back on BT Sports because of the great job that they did with the Wilder and Fury build up and post fight.
Yeah, no, BT doing a great job with the Crawford Khan too. They picked that up as well. So they're showing they want to be players in this. So, which was odd because Amir Khan being a Matchroom fighter, you would figure ultimately it would be a Sky Sports UK rights thing, and it wasn't. So BT Sports, everyone, like Eddie said a long time ago, and I continue to say, it's a great time to be a boxing fan, but it's an even better time to be a fighter because you're getting cut checks from all over, man. Everybody needs content right now, and these fighters are bringing that. But I feel like you. I feel like Sky is making an investment and showing their viewers these are the heavyweights that we ultimately want to see in the ring on Sky. Yeah, I mean, not much to say other than scratch our heads. Now, we will have Jay Diaz, the trainer of Deontay Wilder, on in a few minutes. I'll just go ahead and have him call in now.
Why did you think that ITV didn't pick it up though? Like,
I think it's check. I think it's just, yeah, I mean, obviously the rights, right? Like the TV rights, they just sold them. They got more for them from Sky.
But Nis, man, come on, man. Like put your thinking cap on. Like, this doesn't make a damn bit of sense to me. Like, say let's just put it in the American terms, right?
Well, I mean, you got to remember this too, right? Wilder, Finkel, they've already said that the door isn't closed with Dazn and with negotiations. Maybe this is that. Maybe it's like they said at the press conference for the Breazeale fight that after this fight, they could still be possibly facing Joshua or Fury next. Maybe this is part of the negotiations, I don't know, but it just feels right. So I'm hoping something good comes from it.
My whole point was, like, let's just take it from the American point of view. If I'm Al Heyman and I have a deal with Fox and Showtime, I wouldn't necessarily put my fighter on ESPN. So with that being said, I have a deal with ITV. Why is my fighter not fighting on ITV when Adrian Broner versus Manny Pacquiao ITV, Chris Eubank Jr. ITV, and there was one more that happened that was on ITV? I'm not understanding why they're going outside of the box and putting it on Sky. I'm not complaining or anything like that, but just put my business cap on. It doesn't make that much sense to me. Maybe it's something that I'm missing, and I could totally be missing it. But if you have a partnership with ITV over in the UK and y'all been building it up, how do you now take Wilder and put him on Sky?
I'm telling you, it's the check, man. It's the check. It's the same reason that Chisora was not on DAZN. He was offered a better check from Showtime. I think that's what it is. But we got Jay Diaz, the manager and trainer of Deontay Wilder. Jay, thank you for taking out the time, obviously, to come on the program and talk a little bit of boxing with us. We're just reporting on the fact that Wilder versus Breazeale will be on Sky Sports in the UK. If you could just give us your thoughts on that.
I've just been talking to Shelley, and he actually got cut off because he was going into a meeting, but we were just getting into that a few minutes ago, but I haven't heard the latest of, but anything that gives Deontay the most exposure, that's why Deontay insisted this fight. Some people were saying it was going to be pay-per-view and this type of thing. And Deontay's like, he wanted this one to be as open and available to as many people as possible. So whatever gets it out there to the most people, I think that's a good thing.
How's it going, Jay? Michael Gross here. Thanks for the hospitality that y'all showed us last week in Alabama.
Oh, it's good to have you there.
Hey, my first question is, you speak about the exposure. Now, BT Sports did, in my opinion, they did a good job with the build-up for the Wilder and Fury fight, and they also did a great job in the epilogue, everything post-fight, and they're now doing a good job with the Amir Khan and Terrence Crawford. Was there any conversation that this fight was going to be on BT Sports over in the UK?
I don't know. I don't know exactly all the details of that type of stuff. I have the manager mode and then I have the trainer mode. And once I get to a certain point where I'm lining up the camps and everything, that's where my focus is. So there's some of those meetings and stuff like that I let Al and Shelley handle. and because it's more important for me to be, in camp and have all the pieces together with the sparring partners and the hotels and transportation and all the logistics takes quite a bit. So at a certain point, I just turn that stuff over to those guys.
Absolutely, got you. Speaking of camp, Wilder came. When I seen him, he said he was like 222. I believe you said that. What weight can we expect him to be come fight night? Are you guys trying to push that 230 limit?
Well, I don't think we're really shooting for a specific weight. The main thing is that he comes in a weight where he's strong and he's happy and healthy and comfortable. And I mean, ideally, I would love him to be in the mid 220s, 224 to 228. Somewhere in there would be great. I think what it really comes down to is just that he's making eating a part of his training program that's as important as boxing. It's one of those things that you got to taste. He has so many things going on sometimes that he just kind of, the day gets away from him and he forgets to eat. Says, I wish I had that problem, but he doesn't always make the time to get the caloric intake that he needs. And then you've also got to remember he's in Alabama, and the gym is a metal building with a metal roof. It's very hot, as you guys know, especially in the summer months. So he's burning a tremendous amount of calories. You'll see him just shadow boxing, pouring sweat. So he's burning a lot of energy, and it's just it's one of those things that his metabolism is fast anyway. So when you add it all together, you've got kind of a perfect storm for him weighing less than he should if he doesn't take precautions.
Jay, Nestor here, just trying to connect the dots. And I know you said you don't know much, but maybe a question to ask Shelly. If this is landing on Sky because the relationship with Warren, Fury, and BT is tainted due to them not taking the immediate rematch, sitting on it for 5 days, then going over to ESPN?
I'm not sure. I mean, that's all speculation. That's things that I've heard. That's kind of the rumors that are out there. A lot of times there's things people don't know that are going on behind the scenes, and sometimes the chessboard is 2 or 3 moves beyond what the normal person really knows. So what may seem like a person should do, a lot of times people don't know the whole story. Like when Deontay chose to bet on himself, and people say, well, how could he turn down this, how could he turn down Dazn, or how could he turn down ESPN? And all I can say is just wait for the phase 1 to be over. Wait for the to give it a few fights and look back and see for yourself what he was doing and why he was doing it. And it'll make a lot more sense than it might make when all you're doing is looking at the initial numbers.
How's it going, Jay? Mike here again. Can you just talk about Wilder when he was at the Final Four this past weekend? Like what went into that thought process, and do you think that he was able to reach more people by being at that Final Four?
Well, I think it went incredibly well. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was Steven Espinoza that reached out at Showtime and wanted Deontay there because of the exposure that it would generate. And even though Deontay's a Tuscaloosa guy and Alabama and Auburn are rivals, still Auburn was in the Final Four. So there was certainly an Alabama connection there. And mine.
How hard was it for him to root for Auburn?
Mobbed wherever he went.
I'm sorry about that. I was going to say, how hard was it for him to root for Auburn? I know the Alabama and the Roll Tide and the War Eagle is a big, big rivalry. How tough was it for him to say War Eagle?
Oh, I don't know if he said it, but I do know that you've also got to remember, just keeping it real. We tried 4 times to fight at the University of Alabama, and we're told that wasn't possible. So I think Deontay's loyalty is more to the state of Alabama than to any particular school. I think Deontay's loyal. The state got the commission. The state pushed it through and pushed it forward, and has allowed Deontay and then subsequently these younger fighters to fight. So I don't think it's so much a university loyalty for Deontay as much as it was, just in terms of the state. I think Deontay's probably happier that Auburn was there than say, Tennessee or Missouri or, because it was a state connection. And, Charles Barkley was there and some other people. And I think it was a thing where he got a lot of exposure out of it, and he did a ton of interviews, and he was kind of mobbed everywhere he went. So ultimately, it helped a lot. You're talking about, I don't know what it was, 10 to 15 million people or whatever it was, saw him on TV and saw him interviewed, and he also did a lot of personal appearances up there. And so I think it was a good thing, and he didn't miss a single day of training, which is circle back to what I care about. He was back in the gym, yesterday, and so we were happy. And even though I know he had to be tired, he put in a great day.
So, Jay, I just wanted to ask, Wilder spoke about getting back to the basics. What do you think that means for him, and what does that mean for you? What are you going to be doing differently from, let's say, the past 3 camps?
Well, Deontay is a phenomenal athlete. I don't think anybody can argue that. And when you are a phenomenal athlete, and when you hit as hard as Deontay Wilder does, you can get away with things. It's just the fact of the matter. There are things you can get away with that the average person cannot get away with. And, so what Deontay said, and what I'm thrilled to hear him say, and what I've wanted, is for him to get back to the basics and get back to doing things technically correct with his footwork, with his positioning, with his hand placement, basic boxing, as well as his workout. Deontay now, he's doing some running, he's doing some jump rope, he's doing some speed bag, some of the things that he hasn't done in a while. And he just wanted to get back to the basics and reset on the basics and make sure that everything from a fundamental standpoint is good. Now, we don't want to take away the awkwardness that makes Deontay Deontay. He has the athleticism, and he can throw punches from an unusual angle. So we're not looking to get rid of that. It's just a matter of wanting to make sure that from a technical standpoint, we're always in a good position. So that's kind of what we've both been working on at the same time.
And how are you looking forward going up against Virgil Hunter in the opposite corner with Dominic Breazeale? And are you a competitive man? Do you look at it like that, or is the focus strictly on Deontay and getting the win, and your personal, things don't come into play?
Well, it's one of those things. I'm definitely a competitive person. There's no question. And I don't like anybody to try to outwork me and outstudy and outfilm work and all those kind of things. But when it comes down to it, it's really all about Deontay and his execution when he's doing things right. And that's what we're after, is the victory for Deontay and the title defense for Deontay, because that's what it's all about. So, I mean, I've been in the opposite corner from, Joe Goosen and Mike McCallum and Ronnie Shields and, a lot of different people that I admire and respect. But I'm just there to do my job. I'm not worried about trying to outdo some other coach or trying to be a celebrity coach or a coach that's always on camera and all that. That's if people want to do that, that's fine. But my thing is just trying to get the win and trying to move forward with another title defense and another victory for Deontay Wilder.
Now, this morning, there was an article released that Prince Naseem Hamed came out and said that Tyson Fury beats all the top heavyweights: Deontay, AJ, Dillian Whyte, everybody. You faced you faced Tyson Fury with Deontay already once. What do you think about Naseem's prediction?
Well, he's an Englishman, and he a former world champion, and so he's going to back his guy. I I wish more Americans back their guys like the English do. So I don't begrudge him his opinion. And he may really feel that way. I certainly feel differently. I think that Tyson Fury does have a tremendous skill set. He's incredibly athletic for a guy his size. He takes a good shot. He's very tough. He's determined. He's very awkward and very hard to hit. So these things present great challenges to anybody that would be in the ring with him. But I thought Deontay beat him the first time, and I think Deontay will beat him the second time, and much more convincingly even.
Does it?
The way I see it, Deontay landed. Deontay, of course, had broken his arm before we started camp. Now, by the time the fight got there, of course, there were no issues with the arm other than we weren't able to use it in camp as much. So timing became the issue. We did as much as we could do on mitt, but it's certainly different when you're fighting a live, moving, resisting opposition. So it took Deontay a while to find the right hand. But in the last 4 rounds of the fight, Deontay had 2 knockdowns, the 9th and the 12th. So that tells you that from a biomechanical standpoint, he was figuring things out, getting closer, setting things up, and starting to land those shots. And I think that a second fight would just be a continuation of the last 4 rounds of the first fight.
Does it ever bother you that you got a fighter who's 40-0-1 and has never lost, 39 KOs? Does it ever bother you that you don't get mentioned for like the trainer of the year coming off the year that you guys had in 2018 with 2 possible fight of the year candidates?
No, that all that's well and good. I'm happy with our team, and as long as we keep doing our job and keep winning, that's all I really care about. It's nice to be recognized and that type of thing. But as far as awards and all that, if it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But it's not something that I think about. It's really, it's really just about Deontay and making sure he's doing the right things and making sure that we keep winning and hopefully winning in spectacular fashion and make Deontay the biggest attraction, basically athletic attraction on earth is the plan, to make him, the biggest thing he can be. And that can only happen if we're winning. So I just go day by day and just try to do my job, and I don't worry so much about all the other stuff.
Jay, so the first wave had us see Joe Cusimano. We got to see the return of Craig Lewis and Roberto Alfonso. What's in the works for this second phase coming up Monday?
Second phase, we will have continue with Robert Alfonso.
I like him.
Fighting on Deontay's undercard.
I really like him.
He's 18-0. Yeah, very technical, very, very solid technical fighter. Olympic pedigree with the Cuban Olympic team. 18-0 as a professional fighter, 6'4.5", 255 pounds. And then we will bring in Stephen Shaw, who was 2-time national champion, undefeated professional fighter, signed with Lou DiBella. Was with Al Heyman, now he's with Lou DiBella. Stephen Shaw is coming in. He's been with us before. And then the kid from New Zealand, Junior Fa, who's 6'7" and undefeated as well. So I think our combined sparring partner records coming into this time will be 18, 28, 29, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, about 46-0 will be the combined record of the guys that Deontay will be sparring this upcoming week.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Junior Fa beat Joseph Parker a couple of times in the amateurs, right?
That is correct. Yes,
okay.
It is.
Yeah.
How different do you think Junior Fa and Joseph Parker are? Like, what do you see in Junior Fa? Which is also another Lou DiBella heavyweight as well, right?
Yeah. Junior Fa is, he is with Lou as well. That's correct. And Junior is a very talented young fighter, still learning every day and getting better and better. He's one of those kids that does all the right things. You never have to you never have to worry about, Junior out at 3 o'clock in the morning or anything like that. He's very, very family oriented and takes his job seriously. And he's got a bright future ahead of him. Junior can be a very good fighter. He's in that phase of his career where he's basically just past the phase of, building up and getting used to the game. And now he's in that phase of starting to be, really tested as he makes his move into, into the upper echelons of the division. He's in that wave where you start to take some real chances and the level of opposition goes way up. And, if you want to be at the top, you've got to fight and beat those guys. That's where he is now.
Now, you mentioned that Robert Alfonso, who is a known sparring partner of Deontay Wilder, will be on the undercard. Have we got an opponent for him yet? And there was rumors of Dion Nicholson also being on the undercard, the WBC USBA champion in the cruiserweight division. Has that been confirmed?
Robert, we're working on the opponent now, and as far as Dion is concerned, the hope is to get him on the show and make a title defense of his United States title with the WBC at the same time. The thinking being that while the top brass of the WBC are there to see, of course, Deontay and to supervise the event, it would be wonderful for them to lay eyes on Dion personally in a big market like New York, and to see that what he can do in a title defense setting in a big city on a big stage. And if we can make all that happen, we would like to. We're in the process of trying to put all that together now.
And Jay, were you at Marcellus Wilder's last fight?
No, I was not.
Oh, okay. Because he had got the knockout win, and now it's showing as a ND, which I have no clue what that is. I'm used to seeing like a no contest, not a ND.
I'm not sure what ND is. I'm like you. I know what a no contest is. We were talking about that today. We're still working through exactly what the situation is there, and I'm still gathering information. I haven't heard back from the people that are supposed to call me back and tell me exactly what all is going on. So I'm still in a little bit in the dark, and hope to have more information hopefully by tonight.
You know that the rumors are swirling, and that's why I'm asking. Obviously, on Box Records, down as a TKO for Wilder, but then changed back to an ND by the Texas Commission. But if you go to boxing scene on the forums, which isn't too credible, there is a rumor catching legs that there is some sort of a failed drug test.
Yeah, and like I said, we're still getting all the information. Of course, as anybody knows, there's different kinds of drug tests, whether it be recreational drugs, like a marijuana type thing, or are you talking about a performance enhancing drug, which has never been anything that I've ever known about from anybody in our camp or our team or whatever. So we're just waiting to get all the information, but I would caution people very carefully about running off down some hole or down some trail that turns out to be not true. So I just make sure everybody, hey, wait, get the information first, and then before you start saying things online, just wait until the information is definitive.
And until we get that information, we won't be able to get a return fight date for him, right? Is there any possible chance that he's on his brother's undercard?
Still working on that as well. Like I said, it's really, I can tell you more. I just can't tell you till I get my information. So I'm waiting on a few calls from people that I trust, and trying to find out exactly where we are on all of it. So I'll know more within a day or so. I don't want to be talking about things that I haven't got all the information.
Perfectly understand.
What do you make of this whole Dillian Whyte situation? He's like going to the WBC and he's protesting or complaining that he should be the #1 contender or mandatory for the title. Have you heard anything, or has anything came across your desk about this Dillian Whyte situation?
No, I haven't heard anything about it. I remember a while back. I think now this goes back a little ways, but I know that I thought that he at some point was going to fight Ortiz, and then he decided not to do that. I don't know if that had anything to do with them moving on, another direction. But I think Deontay's the only one that's had the guts to call out Luis Ortiz, because it seems like everybody else runs from him. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on with Dillian Whyte.
And my final
He got to
question.
fight you guys. Well, not you guys, because I know Deontay wants this fight. But how much do you, as a manager, not a trainer, want this fight, or think? How much do you think this fight is? It marketable?
I think it's marketable because Dillian Whyte talks a lot, and he depending on where the fight is, of course, and depending on where the fight is, depending on when the fight would be presented to us. It obviously depends on financially whether that's the thing to do or whether there's a much bigger opportunity out there for Deontay. Once you satisfy your mandatory, of course, you've got some time to try to make your biggest fight that you can make, and that's what we're looking to do. So whether that's one of those, I don't know. We just have to wait and see.
My final question for you is:
had he fought Ortiz, I think that had he fought Ortiz and won, he would have been in a much better position to make these type of claims. I mean, one has to make themselves marketable. You have to have the public really excited about a fight, and when you're coming off a marquee type of a win, then people get excited. And so I think a fight like Ortiz would have been great for him. But like I said, that never happened.
And no disrespect, Jay, but wouldn't that be a bit hypocritical on Deontay's part to essentially put a roadblock in front of Dillian Whyte, saying, hey, fight this guy and I'll fight you? Ultimately, that's the same thing Eddie Hearn did for about a year, saying fight Dillian Whyte or fight this guy, and I'll give you the AJ fight, or possibly you'll get the AJ fight.
Well, that would be hypocritical, but Deontay never said that, and neither am I. I'm just saying that had he fought him, and that would have made this a lot more marketable. And that's ultimately it's about making the biggest fight. So you have to look at yourself and say, what can I do to make myself the guy that everybody wants to see? What do I have to do to put myself in that position? And that's if you want to be the man, you've got to make everybody want to see you fight. And that's I don't know what he's talking about as far as the mandatory or whatever. I'm not sure where all that is, but if he keeps winning and he keeps beating good people, then he'll get a shot. Deontay likes to fight often. I mean, Deontay's not like Severn that fought once every year and a half or two when he was WBC champ. Since Deontay has won the title, look at how many defenses has he made? 8 so far. 8, I think. And you're talking about a guy that's gone through multiple injuries, and still he's coming up on his ninth title defense, if I've got the numbers right.
My final question is: going back to the Sky Sports thing, is this only for one fight, or did Deontay sign a multiple fight thing with Sky Sports?
No, Deontay's a free agent. He can do what he wants to do, and we've never signed anything long term with anybody. So it's kind of he's in the best position possible, because he has bet on himself with Bomb Squad Promotions, and that's where these guys like we talked about, like Robert and like Dion, and then you're going to see some more guys in the future. These guys are getting opportunities because Deontay bet on himself, because he wanted to start Bomb Squad Promotions and get that going. So you're going to see more fighters coming on board, and you're going to see it growing, and you're going to see something that that's very, very exciting in the years to come. This can be an enormous thing, and all that has happened because we haven't signed long term. We're not locked into somebody else's plan. We're charting our own course.
Doesn't Dion have like something coming up big?
What's that again?
Doesn't Dion have like something coming up, like a big day coming up in May, maybe?
Dion Nicholson?
Yeah, will he be on the Wilder undercard?
Oh, he already answered that. He already answered that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But Jay, man, we want to thank you obviously for your time. Don't want to take too much more of it. Thank you again, and hope to see you soon.
Hey, thank you guys so much, and always good to have you in camp. And that's the one thing that I appreciate about you guys is that a lot of people want to talk about things, but they've never, they couldn't. Let's just be honest, they couldn't find the gym with a GPS, but they want to tell you all about it. Whereas you guys actually do make the travel, you do make the trip, and you are there actually witnessing what all is going on and how it's done and how it's structured. And I think that's a big difference from a lot of people. So I appreciate that.
Appreciate you, Jay, man. Thank you again. There you have it. World-renowned trainer Jay Diaz, Robert Alfonso, and Deontay Wilder. Good interview. Good questions, Mike. I was
going to ask him, man, damn, how do you, I should have asked him, how do you like breathe with that mouthpiece? And I was trying that shit today. My nigga, I was struggling.
I told you, bro. Breathing with the mouthpiece serious. You got to do it with everything until it becomes.
I know. I've been doing it like rolling, you know what I'm saying, doing my road work. I've been hitting the bag with it, every shadow boxing with it, all that shit, man. That shit is hard.
If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. It helps with the visibility of the show. It allows us to get other interviews just like this. I reached out to Virgil Hunter, but he was not available.
I just reached out to Clarissa Shields, and she said that John David Jackson will be available tomorrow afternoon.
Actually, I was checking the schedule. They're going to be in Atlantic City. The problem with that is it's Thursday, which is our flagship day. Their media day starts at 3. So if I go down there, that's about an hour and a half drive for me. Yeah. I might not make it to the show in time, but I could now. You never know. You know how to schedule and all that other good stuff. There could be a possibility. I do want to head on out there. A lot of people going to be there. Clarissa's a big fight for her. You never even know if Wilder be, you should hit him up. I doubt it though, because he's in the middle of camp.
Nah, he in camp, bro. He ain't traveling like that. Actually, Ron asked him on camera. He said he wouldn't be there.
Yeah, because of camp. That is true. Troy, you have not pressed 1. If you are interested, do so. I'm gonna go out to our sponsors and then to any phone calls we get or callers.
I'm gonna go Fruities, man.
Oh, okay.
Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
All right, so no callers today on this particular show. So
damn, wow.
Troy is there, but no one, and no Skype. But that's all right, We'll be back 7 o'clock. I want to say maybe earlier, maybe right now. Maybe right now for Patreon. We got to do a film study. We're thinking of doing a film study on either Crawford or Khan or who else you said, Mike?
Clarissa and Hammer.
Oh, Clarissa and Hammer. That's right. One of their last 2 fights.
Yeah, they got a like opponent. What's the name again? Not Hannah Rankins, but the black one, Tori Nelson. They both fought Tori Nelson.
Yes. I actually spoke to Shadea Green today. Shadisha Green.
You keep running into her at the gym?
Yes. And tomorrow I'll bring my camera and make sure I get an interview with her and Hawk because Hakeem Nurse sparred Julian Williams to get him ready for Jarrett Hurd, who I just text. Mm-hmm. And Shadea Green was taken to Germany to spar Hammer. And this is super inside right here.
Don't say it on air. Don't say it on air, man.
Oh,
don't say it on air. Say for Patreon, man. Say for the people that on Patreon, man.
All right. All right. Yo, if you really think Hammer's gonna win, you better bet on him because she's a underdog.
Plus 325 right now.
She's an underdog champion. Lamp. Yo, I'm your host, Nesta Gibbs. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at NestGTO.
Follow me on IG at Gross1911 or on Twitter at Gross2312.
Yo, thumbs up or welcome, future, present, past. It doesn't matter. It helps with the visibility of the show, helps us grow. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. We're trying to get to 200,000 right now. We are at a cool 100,000 and 479. So we're trying to get to that 100,001. Let's do it. Let's do it. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We need subscriptions. Also, don't forget 7 o'clock today. Wilder's premiered video drops. Come over to our YouTube channel. We have a premiere dropping at 7. You can get the link right now. You can chat in the chat section right now. The title is DAZN's offer to Wilder was DAZN's offer to Wilder was, quote, training camp money to Mayweather, end quote. True or false? Remember the rumor? Well, we asked the man. We also got a podcast on iTunes discussing Usyk making his heavyweight debut versus Carlos Takam, a common opponent with Anthony Joshua. We have a brand new episode of Untitled on patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. Also on iTunes, our very latest podcast, Tyson Fury versus Tom Schwartz, landing in MGM Grand in Las Vegas. Are You Going? Is available and hot out the oven. Don't forget, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here at youtube.com/ThaBoxingVoice will be a premiered video with Deontay Wilder. And we still have one more Patreon questions and answers coming out for you guys. So if you felt like you didn't hear your question asked to the champ, don't worry. You're on the second post. So, yeah, that's it. Peace.
Hey, man, these guys in the chat are brutal, boy.
What about?
They are just going in.
About what?
About us, nigga.
Why? What are we doing?
We're Wilder fanboys, and one guy just got explicit with. I put it as in time out because he just got graphic, but I was like, shit.
It's okay, man. As long as he's here giving us the views, we chilling, man. I mean, look, you ain't never see Mike with a 50 Cent tank top. He feeling himself, man. He feeling himself.
I just went to the, you know your boy in the gym now.
You know what I'm saying? So shout out to y'all, man. Y'all got us feeling real great, man. Thank you. Peace.
I got to be done. I mean, hey, it is.